We said previously that Monet can be really fast when importing data from CSV files. But there are many other different data sources like databases, like JSON files, like APIs, and for them we are going to use loader functions. Currently we can only make loader functions with Python, so we will collect this data with Python, and then Python will give that data to loader functions, and that loader function will import data to Monet table. Previously, when we have installed our Monet server, we installed two applications. We installed the server and we also installed the client. But for using Python, we need to install third package, and this is that package. And this package is integration package for Monet and Python, because Monet will use this package to communicate with Python. I'm assuming that we already have Python installed on our Ubuntu machine. And now we will run one command that will show us what versions of packages do we have in our Ubuntu repository. So I will run this list command. I will run it, and we can see that we have 8 versions of this package. Instead of list, I will now use show. So I will use similar command. I will just use show. I will run it, and now we will see some data about each of these packages, of these versions. And on the top, we can see that this version 11.51.7 expect that we are using a Monet server 11.51.7. So these versions should match, and we should make sure that we have appropriate version. Next, I will check what version of Monet server do I have. And for that, I will run this command. So I want to see what version do I have, and I have the latest version. So now I can install my integration Python package. But I can install the last version, and for that I would use a command like this one, or I can install specific version, and for that I would use similar command. At the end I will provide a correct version. I will use this command. I will run it, and now we will install our Monet Python package. And it is installed. I will now clean my screen. Next, I will start our Monet daemon. I will run it, and then I will read properties of the VOC database. We can do that by using this command here, Monet get all VOC. I will run it, and here we have that property embed Python 3, and it is set to no. So for this database, we cannot use Python. So we have to change this to yes. Now let's assume that our database is opened. For example, if we have our database VOC opened, and if we now try to change that property, we will run this command. Monet set embed Python 3 is equal to true. This will not work because our database is open. So we first have to stop our database. I will stop it. And only then we can change our setting. So I will now change my setting to true. I can again read my properties of this database by using get all. And we can now see that embed Python 3 is set to yes. And now I can again run my database. And everything is working fine. Now we can log into our database. I will log in as an administrator. Now we do not have to be administrator to create a loader function, but this time I will be administrator, so I will log in as MonetDB user. Now enter my password. Password is again MonetDB. And we are now inside of our client. I will now clear my screen. I will now create one loader function. So I will paste this statement here. The name of my loader function is myLoader. This function is made by using Python language. And the major building block is Python dictionary. Instead of this dictionary, we can see that I will create a table with two columns, with column 1 and column 2. In the first column, I will place two values. So we will have two rows. And here we can also see that I'm importing two rows. These two lists have to be of the same length. Now, I have this one dictionary, but I also have another dictionary. This means that we can import our data part by part. And for that, we are using this emit function. So I will first import two rows, and then again, I will import another two rows. So in total, I will have 4 rows. I will now run this, and then I will show you that instead of just using lists, we can also use NumPy arrays. So this is NumPy array. So instead of this, we can use this. And if we are using NumPy array, our function will be a little bit faster because NumPy arrays are faster. Now, where will Monet store this function? Well, it will store it into system table sys.functions, and loader functions are of the type 7. So I will now run this, and we can see here our function. Here is a definition of our function. We don't see it now because our screen is too small. We can also see that this function belongs to the schema 2000. This is sys schema, and this is default schema for administrators. So our function is kept here. I will now clear my screen. Now that we have our loader function, let's use it. I will create one table, and I will fill this table with data from our loader function. So this is our loader function. We will read from it, and we will place that data inside of a table with this name. So I will run this, and now we can read from our new table. So we are using ordinary select statement, and this is our data. We have 2 columns, we have 4 rows. Now, what is interesting here that we didn't declare our data types. So this loader function will automatically deduce what are data types of our columns, and it will create a table with appropriate data types. Now, this is useful when we want to create a new table. But what if we already have a table? Well, for that example, I will again use this table here. I will just delete all of the rows from it. So I will empty this table, my loader table, and then I will add data to it by using my loader function. This time we are using copy into statement, so we are copy loader into our table from our loader function. So I will run this, and now we have appended data to our already existing table. I will now read from this table, and again our table is filled with data. I will now clear my screen. In the next example, we will see how to use an argument in loader function. This time we will read from JSON file. Here I have one JSON file. In it I only have one dictionary, and this JSON file has name file.json. I will go back to terminal, and I will paste here my statement. So this time our loader function name is JSON loader. We have one argument. This argument is full path to our JSON file. This argument is of the type string. This is actually character large object, that is club. Again, we are using Python. We are using JSON module, which is built in Python, so we already have it. And again, we will use emit function to emit content of this JSON file to Monet. So I will now run this, and now we can see how our function is working. First, I will empty all of the rows from our table, and then we can copy data from our JSON file to our table by using this loader function. So now we are using JSON loader function, and argument is a full path to our JSON file. I will run this, and then we can read from our table, and we will see that all of the rows are now here. We read them from our JSON file. I will again clear my screen. I will now create another loader function. This function is similar to that first function, but this time I will create a loader function that will only provide one column, so there will be no values for column 2. I will create this function. Then again, I will empty my loader table. I will delete all of the rows, and then I will fill this table, but this time I will use this myLoader2 function. So I will paste it here. Now we only have data for one column. I will run this, and then we can read from our table to see what we will get. And as we can assume, the first column will be filled with values, but the second column will be empty. At the end, I want to show you a way how to delete loader function. For that, we are going to use drop loader function statement, and then we will provide a name of our function. So if this is our function, it is inside of C schema. We will then use it here to delete this function. I will run this, and we no more have this loader function.